Hey everyone. So we're just going to start early today because I have an appointment for something not too far from now. So we'll just start it, and I guess everyone else will just join us. And let me see, I'll mute everyone here. Okay, so let's just get to it. So the first number that I saw was 562 588. 562 588. What's going on?
Hey, Mohammed.
Hey.
What's up? The first thing I want to talk about was the last paragraph in my notice of settlement, and it's just the language basically about talking about two different people that it's going out to instead of one. So it just says, basically, please contact plaintiff at the email for settlement discussions within 30 days of receipt of this notice. This notice is directed to each respondent individually. Any resolution of this matter must be undertaken separately by each respondent, and settlement by one respondent will not release, waive, or otherwise affect claims against any other respondent. Actions otherwise will be deemed as your intent not to settle the matter, and the waiver of specific defenses in the legal action against you. So is that proper if it's going to be two people, or would you change the language a little bit?
So how many people are the plaintiff in this matter?
Well, it's just, this is a settlement for me to send out to them. So I'm the only plaintiff, but there's two debt collectors because one of them transmitted the debt, and then that one they transmitted to filed the lawsuit that eventually got dismissed.
Okay, so I'm looking at the template here. What is the question? That last paragraph, the only part that I see here that you put is your email.
Yeah, I'm asking if what I put was good, if it's going to be for two people, like, because the last time we spoke, you said that you just need to change the settlement language a little bit if it's going to be two instead of one. And I was just wondering if this sounded good for the settlement language.
Okay, so
two instead of one.
Read it out again. Read that last sentence out.
Okay. Any resolution or this notice is directed to each respondent individually. Any resolution of this matter must be undertaken separately by each respondent, and settlement by one respondent will not release, waive, or otherwise affect claims against any other respondent. Actions otherwise will be deemed as your intent not to settle the matter, and a waiver of specific defenses in a legal action against you.
Yeah, you don't necessarily have to add that distinction, but that's fine too. You can put that extra stuff into it. Just make sure you put the email that they can contact you at.
Okay. And when you said the settlement language needs to be a little bit different for two people, did you mean when we're emailing back and forth, or did you mean this paragraph specifically kind of designating it to both of them?
What I'm referring to is the heading where it says respondent's name, respondent's address. So you just put their respective information there and make sure that it matches the proof of service. Everything else generally will remain the same.
Oh, okay. So I just have respondent's name and address, and then respondent number two's name and address, basically.
Right.
There's two of them.
Right.
Okay. Got it. Okay. And second question is regarding the suit that I'm just setting up just behind that, basically. I have the counts, the statutory counts for the FDCPA and the Rosenthal Act. And then right underneath that, I go to damages, which is just explaining the actual damages, and then a prayer for relief, jury trial demand. And I didn't make a specific paragraph stating anything specifically about malicious prosecution, but I did put the elements of that in the facts, kind of just showing how they dismissed it. Here's the dismissal. Should there be a paragraph specifically saying malicious prosecution and this is why, or should I just leave it with the statutory actual damages and then the elements of how they did malicious prosecution?
Well, if you're going to add the malicious prosecution, that will be in the count. So if you're going to add it into the count, so the part where it says undisputed material fact, you would add the fact that they dismissed the case, that the parties you're suing now towards your benefit at whatever. So the explanation will be an undisputed fact, but the count itself will be a separate count that says malicious prosecution and says plaintiff
And then
reallege item so and so. There's a malicious prosecution, and then the defendant's action violates. You'll put the equivalency of your state code or statute for malicious prosecution there in the count. But the explanation of the count, the element itself, the explanation of the element will be an undisputed material fact.
Right. Okay. Got it. And then the last question is a little bit different. It's about if right now I'm working and I'm not on actual W-2, the payment's just kind of direct, and he's saying that he wants me to be an actual employee to be on his insurance because it's like contractor stuff, like workers' comp, and I want to be a little more private and don't want to do a W-2.
Hey, I'm inviting you to come join the patron page. Not only do you get access to documents, posts, and videos that you will never find on any other platforms, you also get instant access to webinars that otherwise will cost far more. And we speak of things that usually we would not be able to speak of on any other platforms far more freely. On top of that, you get the opportunity to send me monthly questions.
I could just fill out the W-4 a little bit different to how you explained, or do I actually need a whole trust and everything to actually do that?
Okay, towards the beginning,
with all the treaties,
it kind of became a little bit harsh. The connection became a little bit coarse towards the beginning. So, are you saying you're an independent contractor or not?
Basically, I am, but not on paper. I'm kind of just showing up and doing the work.
Okay.
But yeah, I could.
If you are an independent contractor, are they asking for your social security number?
They're gonna want to. Basically, they're saying that they're gonna want me to fill out a form, but I want to explain to him how I could do it a little bit differently. But I'm trying to get a little bit more of an idea of how I would do it.
Okay, so if the first thing you need to do is ask them if they are open to having it. Give me 1 second, please. 1 second. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to ask them if they are open to working with your entity, because you intend to basically work with them and enter into the contract with your business. So if they do, then that would determine whether you're going to go along the route of filling out a W-4 or doing other things. So do you know if they're open to having you work with them using a business, or do they just want it to be done personally?
If they knew I was covered, like insurance-wise, because it's like a job that's always on a roof, they'd be okay with that if they knew I was covered.
Okay.
The whole point you want to do it is so I'm covered through workers' comp.
Okay, got it. I see what you're saying. Yeah. So regardless of whether you use a business or not, it seems like the only thing they really care about is just you not suing them, basically.
Exactly.
Okay. I would say still ask them, because you can do it either way. Ask them first. Just let them know that you intend to cover your own costs for any type of damage or hold harmless. Just tell them you're willing to hold them harmless, that you have a business that you're trying to do that through. If they say yes, that's fine. Okay. Then what you would do is just present them the information with the vow of poverty. If they say no, then you just do the W-4 regularly.
You said if they say yes, just present them a vow of poverty?
Yes. So you present them
if they say no, then... go ahead.
You present them the vow of poverty along with the direct deposit information of whatever business you're doing. Now, the thing is, something is telling me you don't have the 508 just yet. So if you don't have it just yet, then all this will be so time consuming, and you don't want to have it drag that work of yours and your earning back. So I say just fill out the W-4 and just fill out it as an exempt.
Got it. And that's pretty much all explained in that video where you're talking about that, right? Is that all I need to know for that part?
Yes, considering that your situation is time sensitive. Regardless, from what it looks like to me, even if they do accept you basically working for them using a business, something tells me you're still going to need time to set things up. And that might not favor you.
Yeah, I agree.
So just doing it as a W-4 it seems to be more appropriate. Just fill it out as exempt.
Okay. Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Okay, so the next number that I saw was 708-872-0872.
Can you hear me?
Yep, loud and clear.
All right. JC, how you doing, brother?
Hey, I'm doing great.
Where you at?
Well, it's all right. It was worse, I'd say maybe a few weeks ago, but it's all right.
All right. Just want to hop right into it then. First question is going to revolve around valuation. So in a previous consult, you mentioned shortly to me that the thing that held me up was the valuation.
Yeah.
As of recent, I've been able to muster up a good amount of funds specifically for this valuation. I wanted to know if you would be, can you connect me with someone that would do the valuation? And if so, how does that change the QSIP process? My understanding on the QSIP process is essentially to gain the valuation.
Yeah, so
Route to do it like that.
So for one, you have to realize the thing is, if any of this process is going to be a bit stressful when it comes to monies for you, I don't want you to go through that. So that's why I say you can just leave that part be. With the QSIP, once you get the QSIP and you go that route,
What do you mean by stressful?
Then if you don't have the amount to get the valuation, and if you have to go to, right, okay. So, because I don't want you going through other people to get an in and whatnot, and then you be holding to other people and all that stuff. But either way,
this solely came from me. Just so you know.
Okay.
I respect that, man.
Okay, so in short, they're just two dichotomies. So if you get your own QSIP, you can get it evaluated with a considerably cheaper amount, assuming you have your own QSIP. But if you are trying to do valuation without your own QSIP, the amount is gonna be basically double. So that's why I say go the QSIP route first. That way, okay, all right. So with your own QSIP, it's gonna be less. Either way, the valuation will be required with the QSIP, but some of the steps that they would have to do on their back end, you would have done it yourself. So instead of getting their people to basically do an amendment for you and all the other stuff, you would have already done all of that. So that would basically slash the price in half.
Yeah, so this, and thank you for that. This time around, I don't know, man. Something's just telling me my spirit with the whole QSIP process. I kind of see some red tape there a little bit. Definitely don't want to get myself into any trouble that I'm unaware of.
Okay.
So that's why I was just like, you know what? I don't mind, even if it is double. That way it's just clean. It's a clean shot, and I can ensure that everything is done properly from the beginning.
Okay. Yeah. Then you can just go ahead and contact her and let her know what you've done in chronology and what you have, and the fact that you don't have your own QSIP and you want them to get the QSIP for you and the valuation.
Amazing. All right, so moving on to my second question. Banking endorsements, right? You've mentioned in the past that unique birth certificate had a banking endorsement on it. I've been kind of digging into the types of endorsements. You also mentioned that it had some sort of valuation done on it already. Can you point me to any laws or anything that I can research behind that? Or is that just not on the general internet?
When it comes to banking endorsements, there are laws on the internet besides, besides Article 3. But are you speaking specifically to yours and the way yours is done? Or just generally speaking?
So I'll provide you a little context, right? The past console, you mentioned, hey, that birth certificate you have already has the banking endorsement on it, and it appears that a valuation has been done. Obviously, I've looked up, right, like this Article 3, special endorsement, restricted endorsement, those things. Can't really make a connection as to what you were telling me, how it can be feasible from that point.
Okay, so the first thing that I'll try to tell you to do is go into Regulation CC. Are you familiar with it? Have you ever heard of Regulation CC?
Yeah.
Okay, so try to look into that. Second thing you should look into is something called Centuries Act. No, check clearing. One second, let me just make sure I'm not convoluting this. It should be Check Clearing Centuries Act, something like that. Check Clearing Centuries Act. Okay, it's Check Clearing for the 21st Century Act. So it's Public Law 108-1. Yeah, Check Clearing for the 21st Century Act. Literally, that's the name of the actual thing. So the short term is Check 21 Act. So it's Public Law 108-100. So this act basically goes hand in hand with UCC3. See, UCC3 basically tells you the basic stuff everyone does and the normal stuff you can think of. But this particular check clearing for the 21st Century Act basically tells you how the Federal Reserve Board basically turns check into money, in short. Whenever people do things like ACH, wires, and the fees involved and the rules involved with it, and how treasury management is basically a type of product that the Federal Reserve Board uses as an arm's length. In other words, the stuff that the moment anyone deals with the pink sheets, when you start dealing with that receipts and they start pulling the endorsements and they start stamping it, because that's just what the pink sheets are. This rule is what they have to abide by.
I'll be sure to look into it. Next question, or last question, revolves around tokenization. Do you provide any tokenization services or a general direction you can kind of point us in to be looking to tokenize the metrics and some of our metadata out here for Q3 of this?
I don't know if it's a connection on my end, but can you say that again? All I heard was tokenization of data, and then it was going in and out.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you.
So do you offer or can you recommend any sort of tokenization service providers, essentially for Q3? This is kind of along the lines of your post last night.
Yeah, okay, so I don't know if I've ever mentioned this in any video or to you or to anyone else, but the thing is, the whole concept of tokenization and the providers goes directly under the trustees. And it's governed by the Gramm-Leach-Bliley Act and something called Bank Service Company Act. Whenever you get the valuation done, I'm planning on showing that on the 18th, because I spoke with someone, I don't know if it was you or someone else, but I spoke with someone and they were asking for me to show them certain things that I speak of. So I've dug into some of my documents. So I'll be showing you some of the agreements that they will basically send you. And the whole thing where people speak of when you detach the bottom and you send it, and that's the money. That process is what they get you to do. When you sign that, it's kind of like the same thing you do with signature card. When you sign that, that's part of the process of what gives you the ability to basically tokenize everything that you're doing. But the thing is, when you use it this way, you're not just doing it in form of a typical endorsement. What you're doing is you're going to be converted into it. The token that you're going to be using will be in form of a trust certificate unit. So you would basically, there's something called an audit right, which is every time you tokenize any type of currency or any type of instrument, you would need a third party to audit it in order for it to be considered legitimate. And they would create the payment flow. That third party will create the payment flow. So you need another oversight over another oversight. But the exemption to that, having that third party as an oversight to basically overlook the whole payment flow, is you would have to create it into a trust certificate unit. In short, your own trust certificate unit will be the token itself, is what I'm saying.
Got it. And that service provider is probably what you were mentioning in our past consult with the guarantor.
Yeah, that's where that comes in. But the thing is, the tokenization is optional. You don't necessarily have to go that route. I like to keep things. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to ask, do you see it as a necessity as we progress in this financial system?
No, I don't. The reason why I say no is because the route that you are going through, your accepted form of currencies anyway are not limited to USDs. And the concept of tokenization is just the same as trust certificate units that are rented into the public for use. No different than you would have a gold and you will rent it out. And with the promise that whoever you're renting it to will give you more gold, or whoever the trustee is, giving it out and renting it to other people by using your stuff will give you more gold in the future. It's just the same thing, with the exception that instead of it being actual gold, it would just be a trust certificate unit. In other words, you're just issuing your own currency. So instead of the trust certificate unit being the currency of the trust, you're now renting the trust certificate unit out to others. Where in truth, the trust certificate units is supposed to be really the final stage where you keep it to yourself, where you keep the value of the currency. No different than how people take $88 USD and purchase silver with it and hope the price or the buying power of the dollar dies, so that now that $88 silver is worth $100. So now they can cash out the difference. So instead of doing that with gold, you're doing that with your trust certificate unit. But this time around, what people can do is, once they own silver, for instance, that they bought for $88, they can now go to a third-party trustee to rent that out to other people who don't have silver, in the hopes that they can get more silver in place of that $20 difference when the purchase power of the dollar goes down. But in this case, you're doing it with your trust certificate unit. My thing is, instead of you doing that, keep your silver, aka your trust certificate unit, and just let it grow. And then put it back into the system that you already have access to make it, rather than giving it to another third party to tokenize it for you. In other words, tokenization is just another way of monetizing what is already private, but it's not necessary.
Right, basically self-custody.
Right, exactly. Yes. But if you don't want to go that route, then you see the option to use something like VTS, which is Visit Token Service. That's the most popular one that I see with the FINRA portal. So V as in Volvo, Visa Token Service.
VTS.
Yes.
Alrighty, those are my 3 questions.
All right. So going to the next caller. The next number I saw was 312-256. 312-256.
Am I the only person? Because I want to know if I can get skipped.
If I skip you, I'm not going to come back to you because I have to end this minute as quick as I can. I have an appointment.
All right.